So welcome everybody. Let's go ahead and get started. This is BOMA San Francisco's annual meeting, and my name is John Bryant, and I serve as your CEO and Executive Director.
Hey.
Now today we're here to celebrate our BOMA community, our corporate sponsors, our successes, elect new directors, and on behalf of BOMA, thank our outgoing directors for the hard work and commitment to the association. To call this meeting to order, it is my pleasure to introduce your 2022 President, Glenn Good, General Manager of Operations with Brookfield Properties. Glenn?
Good morning, John, and good morning, members. It's great to see everyone this morning, albeit virtually. Hopefully we'll see everyone tonight at our annual celebration. It's a little past 9 a.m. on October 13th, and I would like to officially call to order the BOMA's 2022 annual business meeting. As your 2022 BOMA president, has been my distinct honor to serve you over the past year. One of the shining lights during the pandemic has been our corporate sponsors. Their investment in BOMA is above and beyond membership dues, as you know. It enables BOMA to deliver quality programming throughout the year. Please join me when I say thank you to these terrific partners, and please reach out to them as you search for products and services. I also want to thank the BOMA community for continuing to come together during such turbulent times. The driving force behind BOMA is its membership, and I am very proud of what we accomplished together over the past year. I want to take a couple of minutes to highlight some of the accomplishments over the past year from my perspective. We accomplished a great deal in government affairs, but most important was creating relationships and ensuring our voice was heard. Many of you know politics is my passion, and it was a centerpiece of my presidency. We met with countless government officials, and many of them at 415 Natoma. I can attest that our government affairs efforts, led by David Harrison and John Bryant, have never been stronger. Thank you to them. Despite the continued challenges of the pandemic and the downtown recovery, I'm happy to report that BOMA's fiscal solvency remains strong, which John Bryant will cover later in the program. Your board did a lot this past year, working to make sure that we had the fiscal strength to continue to succeed, not only in 2022, but in the years to come. Lastly, we created opportunities to come together to celebrate real estate as well as each other. Just take a throwback to a couple years ago when we couldn't even get together. We couldn't even see one another. Remember this year, whether it was the block party, whether it was BOMA at the ballpark, the BOMA International Convention in Nashville, and even the helicopter lift at the golf outing. Networking and meeting new friends throughout the year is one of the most important parts of our membership. We did that and more. And now John will walk us through a review of the year. Thank you, John.
Thanks, Glenn. I appreciate that. Sylvia, could you advance the next slide? Before I start talking about our year in review, I just want to spend a minute on the value proposition for your membership. When I first started working for BOMA, actually in Washington, D.C. with BOMA International, it was Henry Chamberlain that gave me the best analogy for BOMA, and he called it the three-legged stool. According to him, it was a three-pronged commitment where all of our efforts equal the total sum, or really simpler put, one leg can't be longer or shorter than the other. Now that's our focus, that's BOMA, and that's our promise to you. We purposefully and strategically divide our efforts between advocacy, education, and network. And for me, those are the value propositions that we strive to meet and to exceed. Next slide. Now, before I talk about what we've done this year, first, let me just introduce you to your team, the staff that works every day on your behalf for the betterment of the association, starting with our tenured professor, Ms. Tori Brubaker, Vice President of Operations, Sylvia Price, our Manager of Events and Education, the brains and the muscle behind most of what we do, David Harrison, our crackerjack government affairs specialist, and our newest addition to the team, Megan Kelly. Megan just joined us a couple months ago as our membership manager. And if you haven't had an opportunity to say hi to Megan, I strongly encourage you to reach out. She's a great addition to the team, and we're super happy to have her on board. And last but not least, Karen White-Childs, our administrative assistant, and if I'm honest, really the heart of the operation here at BOMA San Francisco. Now let's take a minute to talk about government affairs. Now, I could make this entire presentation about government affairs, honestly, but we did recently hold a government affairs webinar outlining all that we've accomplished. David did an incredible job of really going through all of our issues. And rather than take our time here to go over everything, I just wanted to talk about a couple of key points for this year. The first one, probably the most important, is our advocacy resources. Now, David's really done an incredible job creating new resources under the banner from one-pagers on a myriad of issues, briefings, webinars. We created a lot of resources to help you navigate the world of government regulations. If you haven't gone on our website, if you haven't spent any time there, I strongly encourage you to take a few minutes to discover what we have to offer. And I'm going to guess that you're going to be pleasantly surprised with the new resources that we've created. Let me also briefly mention the PAC under resources, because this is the most important thing that we have. And this year alone, we were able to increase our PAC donations by a whopping 30%. Now, we're using those funds to fight on your behalf. We're using those funds to make sure that the commercial real estate voice is heard, and we can't accomplish those goals without your support. I'm really happy that everybody stepped up this year, and we're encouraged by the financial giving of all of our members. Second thing I want to talk about just in terms of resources is decarbonization. I mean, this is probably the #1 issue that we've been working on this year and will be a #1 issue for the foreseeable future. Now, speaking of resources, on decarbonization alone, on our resources page, you're going to find over 20+ pages of technical analysis and correspondence from BOMA San Francisco to the Department of Environment and to other city leaders, really regarding the Climate Action Plan. And our goal is to make sure that the city's final legislation actually works to get us to net zero in a way that's economically responsible and feasible for our industry. Now, our conversations are based on expertise from our members, our committees, and they've already borne fruit, and BOMA is widely seen as an honest broker for commercial real estate interests. Let's talk a little bit about the economic recovery or the recovery of downtown. And look, I'm going to be honest, there's still more questions than there are solutions in this regard. But we're working really hard to get office workers back downtown. We're promoting clean, safe streets. We're trying to help businesses through programs that serve our downtown to keep their doors open. We've been outspoken advocates for the budget, funding going forwards to support the downtown this year through the mayor's office. This year, we were incredibly successful. The budget included over $40 million in funding for OEWD to support direct grants to small businesses, community activations, 2 separate ambassador programs, and probably most importantly for our membership, we were able to secure $50 million in additional funding for the San Francisco Police Department, something we're incredibly proud to have played a part in. Now, we're partnering with other community stakeholders to make key investments and ideas that support the downtown. Funding activation sites like SFS Glow, new murals, the Civic Pride campaign titled Shine On SF. It's these pilot programs that are supporting the projects, building community and public spaces, and we hope are going to continue to spark the need to create a new downtown of the future. Next slide. Lastly, the trick to government affairs is really to be in the right room at the right time when the right conversation is happening. And a lot of things need to line up for that to happen. So with that in mind, I just want to say we have one of the greatest advocates at our side, your president for 2022, Glenn Good. With Glenn's help, with the committee's help, with our members' help, we met with countless government and political leaders at all levels of government. We met all of your federal leaders. We went to Sacramento and met all of your state leaders. And most importantly, we spent a lot of time making sure we made those connections with your local leaders here in San Francisco. And as Glenn mentioned earlier, and as these pictures can attest, most of those meetings actually happened at 415 Nintoma. So these are the types of interactions we really need to make a difference. So a quick thank you again to Glenn, Anna Duffy, Jeff Corvey, our chair and vice chair of government affairs. It's their hard work that's really made the difference. Let's talk a little bit about education. Again, education is a corner value proposition for our association. And we've done a lot on education, not to be outshined by our government affairs efforts. When we looked at education really at the height of the pandemic, we knew we had an opportunity to increase our offerings. At first, it was from a virtual capacity, and now we're starting to bring classes back in person wherever it's appropriate. Now, we learned we have to be nimble. We learned that no one approach was going to work for everyone. So this year, we engaged with new instructors. We increased and diversified our offerings significantly. And over the past 2 years, our education has actually increased by an incredible 70%. I mean, just think about that for a minute. Within 2 years, our education offerings were increased by 70%. From my estimate, that's an impressive number. Although I do need to be honest, when we were putting together this presentation and making sure our statistics matched up, Sylvia Price mentioned multiple times, we can't continue that growth curve, so things will normalize. But the point we're trying to make is we're really trying to do things differently. We're trying to create that value proposition, and we're trying to do things better than ever. Let's talk a little bit about networking. This year, if you haven't been to one of our events, or if you didn't have a good time at any one of them, I'm going to be honest, I don't think you were trying hard enough. I mean, we did everything we could to make sure that you had a great opportunity to network, to build new relationships. We brought back BOMA at the ballpark. We brought back the EP Boat Bash, both of which were on a hiatus due to the pandemic. And we continued our now annual block party at Levi's Plaza. We talked a little bit about it at the beginning, but for those golfers, just to make sure that we hit every point we possibly could, we actually brought in a helicopter to the golf course. Glenn, Dominic got to ride in it. We put Sylvia in the cockpit as the co-pilot. We dropped over 600 balls on the fairway. It was quite the spectacle. We're always striving to do more, and along those tunes, we even brought in a band to the golf tournament. For those that you attended, South Bend 101 was one of the best bands that I've actually had the opportunity to hear in a while. So we were incredibly just trying to make sure that everything we do is for the betterment of our networking events. Now, we're always striving to do more, and I think we really topped it off at the golf tournament, but I would be remiss if I didn't thank our event sponsors for their time, their commitment, and their financial support. I mean, we really couldn't have accomplished any of these events without these companies, so a sincere thank you. Now, let me turn it over to Tori Brubaker to talk a little bit about Create and a few exciting things that we have planned for the rest of the year. Tori?
Unmute myself. Hello, everyone. Commercial Real Estate Alliance for Tomorrow's Employees, Create, this year celebrated its 10 years of delivering diverse and career-ready candidates to the local industry. We had a fabulous opportunity to celebrate this on October 4th on the roof deck over at 221 Main, where we brought together people who've been involved for the past decade, everyone from donors to fellows, alums, to instructors, to people who provide their resources for these students, and even students from the current program at San Francisco State. Create's Fellows 1.0 and 2.0 curriculum offered at San Francisco State, which, by the way, was reported by the Wall Street Journal in 2020 as the #5 most diverse educational institutions in the nation, and what we host at Merritt College in Oakland, have educated 400 plus students over the past decade and delivered those students to the local commercial real estate industry. In addition, with our alliance partners, NAIOP San Francisco, IREM San Francisco, and BOMA Oakland East Bay, we all offer additional career development resources to prepare these students for a real job for entry-level positions upon graduation. But most importantly, Create is funded by the monetary contributions of the industry employers who benefit: real estate companies, ownership entities, and service providers like all of you here. I ask each and every one of you, both from a corporate perspective as well as an individual perspective, to donate today. It's our annual campaign season. Donate at createworkforce.org. Donate. Create expands our workforce, it increases our diversity, and it brings a richer set of ideas to the CRE table. So thank you to all of our donors, past, present, and most importantly, future. And we really encourage you to participate in whichever way you can. And then moving on, Sylvia, you can flip to the next slides. One of our revered and our largest social event that happens every year is our holiday party, which will occur on December 1st at the Julia Morgan Ballroom. That event is somewhat the culmination of our annual tradition of joining forces with the San Francisco Fire Department's annual toy drive. At that event, we ask everyone to bring a new and unwrapped toy for donation, and the fire department comes and picks it up. But one of our longest standing philanthropic efforts at BOMA San Francisco is our annual toy drive. And last year we were able to bring back barrels, and this year barrels are back as well. So I wanted to let all of our members know that the kickoff for barrel reservations will begin next Monday. It'll be communicated with email and in our weekly. Reservations are due by November 2nd, and then the program itself will run from November 14th to December 16th. So tell your staff, everyone be aware, send in those reservations and help us help local children who are in need or families who are displaced by fire. And with that, John, I will turn it back over to you.
Thanks, Tori. I really appreciate that. And let me just thank Tori. Let me thank Sylvia. Let me thank Karen and everybody else that was involved with that Create 10-year anniversary. I mean, that was an incredible event. We got to see some new friends. We got to see a lot of old friends. And we even had Mark Intermaggio make an appearance, which was the delight, I think, to the entire crowd. So Tori, Sylvia, everybody that was involved, thank you for that. Now let's talk about DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion, our committee and our activities. And I'll just tell you, there's a lot that you can be proud of as a BOMA member. There's a lot of things that we do that can make you proud. But for me, DEI really takes the highest honor. And I can't thank this group enough for what they've been able to put together. I mean, 4 candid conversations, multiple social events, social media posts almost every month, and a forum for people to talk about difficult conversations. Kat Mendoza, Ebony Horace, you've surpassed all expectations. To them, to the rest of the committee, we owe you a debt of gratitude. Now, this year, the committee announced the creation and awarding of the Akiba Davis Scholarship. This is newly created to both honor a former BOMA employee that passed away a few years ago and to provide an opportunity for career growth. I'm excited to announce the first winner of this year's Akiba Davis Scholarship, Jenna Garcia. Jenna Garcia is with Cushman & Wakefield. Jen is actually going to be at our awards reception tonight, so please take a minute to say hello, congratulate her, and let's do everything we can to bring Jenna into the BOMA fold. Next slide. Lastly, Glenn alluded to this earlier. I'm really happy to report our financial strength this year. This is a difficult time, not only for your association, but for your companies and really for the downtown. The pandemic hasn't really let up. We thought we were going to be past this years ago, but we're still in this difficult time. That being said, when times are tough, your association is where you need to be. And it's easy to be a part of BOMA when everything is great. It's necessary and imperative that you're involved with BOMA when times are tough. The most important thing that I think we've done this year is really make sure that we created that value proposition and we made sure our members understood what we were doing on their behalf. I would say a direct result of those efforts, this year alone, we were able to grow our membership by 17% across all membership categories. And this is, the 2.5 year of the pandemic. To be able to grow and increase our membership, I'm really proud of that statistic. Our reserves remain incredibly strong. And despite what is going to be thrown at us in the near future, to Glenn's earlier point, we're in a position financially where we're ready to tackle the difficult challenges. We're ready to make hard decisions, and we're ready to invest not only in our community, but the city and to commercial real estate at large. Now, it's my pleasure to turn the screen over to your BOMA's 2023 incoming president, Colin Shinner, Senior Vice President with Van Barton Group. Colin, happy to have you take it away.
Great. Thank you, John and Tori, for that update. I'm extremely excited to have the baton passed to me and serve as your next president. First, I'd like to thank Glenn for his leadership and his time over the past year. We've had many obstacles in front of us, and Glenn did an absolutely incredible job. His leadership, his understanding of the industry, and his thoughtfulness have served us all. On behalf of the association, we truly and sincerely thank you, Glenn, and I've got some big shoes to fill. As for my upcoming term as president, I plan to continue to focus on the downtown recovery and its impact on the commercial real estate industry while ensuring BOMA retains its fiscal strength. I'm hopeful and confident that with your help, we will accomplish our goals and continue to be the premier real estate association in San Francisco. Now, it's my pleasure and honor to announce the 2022 to 2023 executive leadership team. Glenn Good as immediate past president, myself serving as president, Amber Brown as president-elect, and Courtney Shadell as our new treasurer. Please join me in congratulating Courtney to the board and the rest of the executive committee for their appointments now and tonight at our event. Now let's get to the business of electing new board members to fill positions being vacated at the end of 2 directors' terms. I call on our chair of our Leadership and Development and Nominating Committee, Kevin Whalen, to conduct the election. Kevin?
Thank you, Colin, and good morning, everybody. 2 directors are finishing their terms of service, myself and Christine Mann. And thank you, Christine, for all of your efforts over the past many years. The Leadership Development and Nominating Committee recommends 2 stellar candidates to come onto the board. For a 3-year term, we are proposing 2 candidates: Ann Hill, Director with River Rock Real Estate Group, and Catherine Mendoza, Senior Property Manager with Jamestown Urban Management. Ann is a director at River Rock Real Estate Group. She's responsible for the recruitment and retention of portfolio, senior, and property managers and their teams to provide quality property management services to their clients for the Northern California Bay Area. Ann has previously served BOMA in several capacities and has remained involved participating with CREATE, Careers, and the Historic Building Committee. We also recommend Catherine Mendoza, a lead WELL AP certified senior property manager with Jamestown Urban Management. Kat is a commercial real estate professional with almost a decade of experience in commercial property management and is responsible for overseeing operations, construction, and tenant relations for Waterfront Plaza and 55 Francisco, a 440,000 square foot campus style property located in the North Waterfront District of San Francisco. An active member with BOMA, Kat has been an effective participant in several BOMA committees and most recently served as chair of the DEI committee, which Kat put an enormous lift into, which we are all very grateful for. I would like to now ask for a motion to approve the Leadership Development and Nominating Committee's recommendation. As a reminder, only principal members may cast a vote. Do I have a motion to approve? Please signify your motion by clicking the hand raise icon. Thank you, Colin. Is there a second? Thank you. Now for the vote. All in favor, please click the hand raise icon. Any opposed? Thank you for supporting your leadership committee's recommendation, and congratulations to Ann and Kat. Very well deserved. And I look forward to everything that is to come with your involvement with the BOMA board. And if I could just take one more moment here to really commend and express our and my personal gratitude to Glenn Good for a job vastly beyond well done during his year as president of the board. Glenn possesses many traits that made him an excellent leader for this association, but 2 traits in my eyes really truly define Glenn's accomplishments over the past year: his commitment and his generosity. Glenn proves what can be done with a determined mind and being willing to give of oneself. Congratulations, Glenn. Incredible job during your year as president. BOMA SF is incredibly lucky to have you. Thanks so much. Now I'll hand it to Glenn to unveil the 2022 members of the year.
I'm not supposed to cry, right? Thank you, Kevin. Thank you, Colin, and John as well, and everybody else for your nice comments. I have the honor to transition now to talk about various awards that we're going to be announcing this morning as well as tonight at the top of the hour when we celebrate. These awards winners exemplify service, dedication, leadership, and commitment to BOMA and the industry we serve. This year, we are awarding the following categories: principal, associate, engineer, and a new category, rising star, for an emerging professional that has risen above and beyond. Lastly, I am going to award the first time ever what I hope to be a new long-standing tradition, the President's Award. Let's go on to the various categories. It's exciting. For the Principal Member of the Year, please help me in congratulating Ebony Horace with Cushman and Wakefield. Her exemplary leadership has shown most with her efforts as vice chair of BOMA DEI. The amount of work Ebony has put into the DEI committee and cause is tremendous. Congratulations, Ebony. We're so proud of you. And we know you're going to win a BOMA International Toby Award next year in Kansas City. For the Associate Member of the Year, please help me in congratulating Kendra Horsfield with Blue Sky Restoration. Kendra Horsfield is a constant presence at all BOMA San Francisco events. You'll see her all the time. She is a distinguished leader in the EP committee, a huge proponent of BOMA, and was recognized as the best mentor in 22 for the BOMA's career committee. That's quite a resume. Great. Thank you very, very much. Congratulate Kendra on the Associate Member of the Year. For Engineer Member of the Year, it was a tough category. Please help me in congratulating Ryan Snyder with ABM. Ryan is often referred to by colleagues as the engineer's engineer. Always budget conscious, Ryan works with his team to find solutions with his encyclopedia-like knowledge of building operations. I know he's going to be a part of a BOMA International Award-winning team next year in Kansas City too. Congratulations, Ryan. We're very proud of you. Let's congratulate Ryan on his distinguished award. For our new Rising Star Award, please help me congratulate Marco McCartney with Cushman and Wakefield. Look at that smile. That's $1 million smile. This first year we have bestowed this honor, Marco is without a doubt deserving of this award. As you might know, Marco came to BOMA through the CREATE program. He immediately got involved in BOMA by attending classes and joining the Emerging Professionals Committee, and actively participates in the Careers Committee by giving back to the industry. If you don't, if you go to an event and you don't see Marco, you're not looking. He's the tallest guy in the room and he's got that handsome smile. Congratulations, Marco, and let's give him a big round of applause for his award as the Rising Star, first ever. That's a pretty significant accomplishment. Finally, we have a new award that I alluded to, and it's the President's Award. This is really an idea that was generated by John Bryant and several others at the board level, based upon the President's Award at BOMA International. And this is the first time that this is being awarded. I couldn't think of someone that is more worthy and more deserving than Kevin Whalen. Kevin Whalen, my predecessor, friend, and colleague with JLL. Kevin recently moved to Washington, D.C., and we're the saddest for it. We know he had work obligations and family obligations that couldn't keep him here in San Francisco. But without a doubt, what Kevin has contributed over the past years to BOMA San Francisco is unheralded. Think of what some of the things, I'm going off script here, but I don't think John will mind. We have a new leadership development committee. That was Kevin's idea. We have new categories within the membership awards. That was Kevin's idea. We have a new nominating committee. It's Kevin's idea. Kevin not only was the genesis of ideas, but he got members involved and was able to get the best out of people by simply believing in them and investing in them. Once again, no one's more deserving. I wish he could be here in person. We'd fly him in if we could. But congratulations, Kevin Whalen, on the first ever President's Award for BOMA San Francisco. Let's congratulate Kevin Whalen. I think we have a wrap up now. We've gone a little bit longer because I've been filibustering. I also, as we wrap up, I'd like to congratulate our newly elected board members, Ann and Kat. How exciting. And I would encourage other members of BOMA San Francisco to apply next year. We want a healthy board and a good, diverse board, and we encourage everyone to apply. Courtney Shadell as our new treasurer. Wow, we're excited to have her on board and on the executive team, and our members of the year who we just talked about. I look forward to continuing to work with everyone and excited to see Colin Shinners. He is going to be a fantastic president. I have the greatest belief in Colin. He's going to knock it out of the ballpark. And let's do everything we can to support him in making his transition the best and most successful. I would be remiss if I didn't thank our outgoing board member, Christine Mann. I want to say a little bit too about Christine, Bill Whitfield, and Kevin Whalen. They were on the executive committee when they believed in me and voted me onto the executive committee several years ago as treasurer. I'll never forget those individuals and forget that honor. It was one of the greatest honors that was bestowed upon me. I never took it for granted, and I worked extremely hard to justify their confidence as well as the board's. But most importantly, thank you, Christine, for all you've done, and we look forward to your continued involvement in your service to BOMA. One more item, John Bryant and the BOMA San Francisco staff have been outstanding, and we should all readily recognize their contribution, their service, and their professionalism to our association. John, as our CEO, Tori, David, Sylvia, Karen, and Megan, they've done an outstanding job. They've been a pleasure to work with, and they provide extreme and immense value for our organization. Please go out of your way to support them and thank them for all they've done. We're grateful. The meeting's gone on a little bit too long. It's a bit emotional meeting, but thank you everyone for your patience. Now can I have a motion to adjourn? It's been a motion made by Kevin. There's been a second by Colin. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Hand raised. The ayes win. That concludes our annual meeting. We hope to see everyone later tonight. It's going to be a wonderful celebration. Remember, it's our chance to honor our members of the year and to greet our new president, Colin Shinners. Thank you. Have a great day. God bless you.
Thanks, Glenn. Thanks, everybody.
Great meeting. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.